Hello, and welcome to Partnership Lake Houston's Candidate Forum for the Humble ISD Trustee election. This candidate interview event is a project of Partnership Lake Houston's Public Affairs Committee. Today's interviews are being produced by DNA Studios. I'm Erica Johnston, Public Affairs Chair for Partnership Lake Houston, and I will be your host today. Before we get started with our candidate interviews, I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone of voting dates, times, and locations. Early voting dates and times are Tuesday, April 19th through Saturday, April 24th from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Sunday, April 26th from 12 p.m. until 7 p.m. Monday, April 26th from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Tuesday, April 27th from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Polling locations in the Lake Houston area include the Humble Civic Center, Lake Houston Church of Christ, and the Kingwood Community Center. Both the Humble Civic Center and Kingwood Community Center offer drive-through voting. Election day is Saturday, May 1st from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Polling locations can be found at harrisvotes.com. Joining us now is candidate for Humble ISD Trustee Position 1, William Epperson. William, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So William, tell us what prompted your decision to run for school board this term.
Well, I'm a product of Humble ISD, and I believe in the mission and the goal of public education. I believe that every student, all of our children should have equal access to a quality education. And I think across the state of Texas, we could do a better job at that. And I've even seen that here within Humble ISD. So that is just my goal. I want to make sure that, that the district has people that actually looks like and represents the Humble ISD and its residents. This district has seen so much growth in the last 2 decades. So I just want to make sure that we are addressing those issues and concerns, that equal education for all of our children.
So what do you see as the most urgent issue facing Humble ISD, and as a trustee, how can you affect that outcome?
I think this pandemic has been very eye-opening for all of us. I think the safety and security of our children, of course, is number one. That's a priority for all of us within the district. And I think on being part of the trustee on the school board, what we can do is actually work more with our local organizations and local governments and other school districts around the community and around the Lake Houston area. You know, a pandemic doesn't care what zip code or what school district you live in. I think that's been very evident, what we've been going through for the past year. And that's the same for floods and hurricanes as well. So we need to definitely work better with, I think, Harris County and with other local school districts to ensure that our students are safe and that our buildings are secured and everything like that.
So what do you feel is the district's role in workforce preparedness?
That's something I'm very passionate about. That's another reason why I'm running. I don't think our school districts have done enough in actually preparing our students for the workforce. We are very focused on college readiness, and I think that is very good, but I think what we need to also recognize is that not every student is going to go to college or wants to go to college, especially with how expensive college has gotten in the past decades. So I really want to make sure that we are preparing our students for the workforce inside the classroom and outside the classroom. And another thing that's closely related to that is life skills. I want to make sure that our students actually know what a credit score is when they graduate, how to build up your credit score, how to file taxes and what are taxes. So those are some things that I think the district really needs to focus on. And again, for being prepared for the workforce, make sure that we train our students in how to interview, how to communicate professionally, and how to network. We have a strong network within Humble ISD and our alumni, so just teaching our students those life skills that will really help and benefit them outside the classroom is very important.
So what business experience and skills, prior board experience, leadership skills, and/or community involvement will be an asset to you as a trustee?
Well, I worked for Humble ISD for 7 years as an avid tutor. It's a college prep program, so that was a very eye-opening experience for me. And then also I come from an educator's background. My mom's actually a retired special ed teacher within the district. And so, and then my background in law school, I did a lot of focus and research into public education in the United States. And what was really eye-opening for me was how little we prepare as a society for the future. A lot of our decisions are based on the here and now and on short-term gains, and at times that has come at the expense of long-term benefits for our students and for our children. And so I just think having someone on the board that understands those realities, that we need to make sure that we're focusing down the road and not necessarily just focusing on the here and now. And I think one example of that has been state testing, standardized testing. We spend a lot of money and resources on that, and that doesn't necessarily prepare our students for how well they're going to be in college or what they're going to do outside of the classroom in the workforce, like we discussed in the previous question. And so having that knowledge and having that background and making sure that we have advocates on the board that understand that we need to make sure that we're making decisions for the long-term benefit of our children, which of course is going to help our economy and things like that. So I'm very excited, and hopefully I can be of service to Humble ISD.
Well, those are all the questions we have for you
Awesome.
today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us, William.
Thank you so much.
Joining us now is candidate for Humble ISD Trustee Position 1, Rebecca Trevo. Rebecca, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So Rebecca, tell us what prompted your decision to run for school board this term.
I have lived here pretty much my whole life, 35 years, and I went through school kindergarten through 12th grade here, and I have 3 kids who will also do the same thing. So this is my home. It's my community. I have a passion for it. I have a passion for all the people that live here, and I decided to run for the school board to make sure that everyone in our community felt heard and valued.
So describe what you see as the most urgent issue facing Humble ISD, and as a trustee, what you can do to affect the outcome.
Our district has seen a fair share of hardships over the past 4 years, from natural disasters to pandemic, and I think as we see ourselves on this positive trajectory out of a pandemic, we find ourselves at a crossroads in education where we can go back to where we always were, or we can move forward with this really unique opportunity to provide personalized education for every single one of our students. Humble ISD has some of the best special programs and language programs, and with this new virtual option for some who they might see fit, we can provide such a personalized place for all of our students. I think I bring a fresh perspective. I have young kids, so I think, you know, I'm here for the long haul, and a new vision for kind of how we can move forward in that.
So what do you feel that the district's role is in workforce preparedness?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. As someone who has attended college and trade school, I think I have a really unique perspective on what post-high school education and career can look like, and I think it's one of our biggest jobs to prepare our students for the world past high school. After looking at our preliminary college, career, military readiness percentages over our high schools, it seems like we have a little work to do to ensure that all of our students are ready for life after high school, whether it be a trade school, college, straight into a career, to the military. But I think it's one of our biggest jobs to make sure they're ready for life, whatever that looks like for them.
What business experience and skills, prior board experience, leadership skills, and or community involvement will be an asset to you as a trustee?
Because I've lived here forever and ever. I've been on several boards, everything from an HOA to the swim team board to our school's PTA. Currently, I serve as our school's advocacy chair. On our PTA board, I am the president and founder of a local nonprofit that has assisted our community in times of hardship through nutrition assistance and education assistance. One of my favorite experiences was I served as a moderator for the deliberative dialogue project at Lone Star College. And what that does is it teaches college students how to have really hard conversations about hot button issues with people that they know they don't agree with, but how to stay calm and respectful and deliberately have a conversation to try and come up with solutions. So I have a lot of experience in our community with leadership, with advocacy, and with problem solving.
Well, those are all the questions we have for you today. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Joining us now is candidate for Humble ISD Trustee Position 1, Robert Sitton. Robert, thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
So, Robert, tell us why you decided to run for school board this term.
Well, you know, I've been serving on the board for 10 years now. 10 years ago, the first time I ran on the idea that, you know, I was passionate about this community, passionate about our school district. This is home. I was born and raised here, and Dad always said, leave it better than you found it, and that's what we're trying to do. And I think we're doing that. We've gone through a lot of challenges over the last 10 years, superintendent change, natural disasters, pandemic. We need trustees who are willing to make those tough decisions and stand by those decisions and make decisions that are right for our entire community. Over 45,000 students, taxpayers, our business community, etc. And I'm just really excited about being here and having the opportunity to run one more time.
Describe what you see as the most urgent issue facing Humble ISD, and as a trustee, how you can affect the outcome.
You know, there's several issues, to be honest with you. We still are a fast growth school district. We're expecting an additional 8,000 to 10,000 students over the next 6, 7, 8 years. I think at that point in time we'll be built out. But again, you've got to have trustees there that have been through it, that have been in the trenches, that have handled that growth and remain fiscally responsible at the same time. Also with growth though, you've got to make sure that you're attracting and retaining quality staff. I think we've been able to do that by increasing teacher salary by over 30% over the last 10 years, bolstering our benefit package. You know, we cannot affect change of insurance premiums, but what we can do is, which we have, is increase other benefits like our telehealth line, local district clinics that are available to our staff. And then when you talk about the taxpayers and doing all this with a conservative fiscal policy, we've been able to refinance over $500 million worth of high interest debt and save the taxpayers over $100 million. So those challenges, those still remain going forward. The last piece to this with the pandemic is virtual learning, and we've got to be able to strengthen that virtual learning platform.
What do you feel the district's role is in workforce preparedness?
Well, I think that strong schools equal strong communities. Strong communities bring in quality workforce as well. So I think that the school district's role, though, is to create an unbiased equal education for all kids and prepare them for their next level, whatever that looks like, whether it's military, four-year school, tech school, or going right into the workforce. So one thing that we've done is we've decentralized career and technology. We've moved it back to the campus level. We've worked with the administrators on each of those high schools to see what their community is looking for, whether it's pharmacy tech at multiple campuses, the new CNA program that we're putting in at Kingwood High School, all the way down to automotive tech courses, and we have public-private partnerships with some of the local dealerships. I think that we need to continue that public-private partnership going forward so that those students that don't aspire to go to college but want to come out and be productive in society, they have the necessary skills to do that, but they also have the necessary contacts to go to work right out of high school.
What business experience and skills, prior board experience, leadership skills, and or community involvement will be an asset to you as a trustee?
So I've been involved in this community virtually my entire life, and that's something that was instilled on me by my mom and dad. So prior to being on the board, on the school board, I served as chairman of the board of the old Humble Area Chamber of Commerce, which is now Partnership Lake Houston, chairman of the board of Kingwood Medical Center. I served as the finance chair for the Humble ISD Education Foundation, 10 years with the Houston Rodeo. Currently, I'm vice president of the Humble Rodeo. So lots of volunteerism. On the work side, when I came out of college, no one was hiring in the financial services field. So I became a school teacher. I taught school at Aldine High School for 8 years. I was a coach there, very successful at that. Made the change back in '98. To go back into the financial services industry, started with Morgan Stanley, and I've been with Edward Jones now for over 19 years. And I believe that the fact that I've been in the classroom, I know what teachers are going through on a daily basis. I understand personal finance as well as school finance. And that combination of knowing what the needs are, but how to fill those needs in a responsible manner really make me the best candidate in position 1.
Well, that's all of our questions. Thank you, Robert, for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thank you so much for the invite again.